Welcome to the latest edition of the World Steel Review video. My name's Peter Brennan, and for this week we have the pleasure of being joined by Greg Ludkovsky, the Vice President of Global Research and Development at ArcelorMittal, to discuss the challenges facing the automotive steel sector. So Gregory, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to really start by talking about automotive steel products. At the moment, steelmakers are doing a lot of work to develop new products. What are the main challenges facing steelmakers?
The challenges are numerous, but foundation for these challenges is ecological targets that have been set by different governments, and that translated to fuel efficiency targets for automakers. They have multitude of ways to reach these targets, and one of those certainly is weight reduction. So the challenge for them and for all suppliers of materials, how to get to the targeted weight reduction in the best possible way. The crux of the matter is what is defined as the best possible way. And speaking on behalf of steel, speaking on behalf of my company, we believe that the most effective from a consumer point of view is to accomplish that with steel. Because yes, it is possible to get to the fuel efficiency targets with different materials. One can do it with composites, fibers, one can do it with magnesium, one can do it with aluminium, and it will work, except the cost that eventually in one form or another one will be passed to the final consumer will be higher. We as a steel industry have an offer on the table that will allow automakers to reach, on both sides of the Atlantic and in the world, reach these targets at the lowest possible cost to the final consumer. So that's the key challenge, and once again, our offer as a steel company, but more particularly as ArcelorMittal, not only comes from unique products, but for a number of years we have cultivated the art and science of automotive structural design. So what we propose to the automotive community is a combination of both. And we'd like to think of ourselves as not a steel supplier to the automotive industry, but a solution supplier to that industry.
It's widely believed that aluminium is a serious threat to steel when it comes to automotive producers using a certain material. Do you see it as a major threat to market share?
Well, I would never underestimate any of our competitors. And aluminium certainly is an important competitor. But I believe that steel has been in existence for a long time. Aluminium has been in existence for a long time. What we are living through right now, it's not the first time that aluminium has declared that they're going to win the world. I have lived through this at least a couple other times in the past. We have unique differentiation in steel. One already referred to as cost effectiveness. But there's another one that rarely is mentioned. If you take a look at product development that took place in aluminium and look at decades past and take a look at what's happening right now, you'll find out that very little progress has been made in terms of significant changes in metallurgical properties of aluminium. They have still the same high strength, which is 3-4 times lower than for steel for years and years and years. We, on the other hand, reinventing ourselves, cannibalizing our own products literally every single year. For example, today we're enjoying 1500 MPa pressed hardenable product called UCBOR. Our goal, the goal of my organization, to have another UCBOR product, 2000 MPa. And this is within 1 year. So we're going to have improved in the most important criteria for steel products, a strength by 30% in 1 year. This is a leap and you don't see the same leaps in property performance in the aluminium industry. So I believe that our potential to reinvent ourselves as industry is also quite unique and positions us nicely in this competition.
ArcelorMittal is really focusing on specific new products, really speciality steels, but do you think that's really going to apply to growing emerging markets like China and Thailand, or is it really focused on the European Union?
Absolutely. You may have heard about our program called S in Motion. We developed it for passenger cars, we developed it for light trucks, and this program showed the automakers extent to which advanced high-strength steel can be used. The perfect example is that less than 5 years ago, only 10% of advanced high-strength steels populated the structural design of the vehicles. In 5 years, this amount doubles. And the growth is actually not linear, but asymptotical. And the growth spans the globe. Today, we are supplying our advanced high-strength steels not only in NAFTA, not only in Europe, but in Asia as well. And soon, with the launching of our facilities in China, in Vama, we'll have a capacity to produce the same portfolio of highly advanced steels around the world, including China.
And you think China's really interested in that? Because are they not going for kind of lower quality steels?
Well, I don't quite honestly believe that China has a choice. For anyone who has lived in China, worked in China as I did, you understand that the country is on the brink of ecological disaster, and sometimes you cannot see very far and you cannot breathe very well. So China leadership is not immune to their concern about the people that populate their country, and they have taken and have to take this responsibility for ecological cleanliness very high on the agenda. So yes, and it's exactly already visible that the type of product they want to introduce in their vehicles will not be different than the rest of the world. So in many cases, I believe that we can look at China as a driver of some ecological initiatives.
Mr. Ludkovsky, you were the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award at last night's Platts Global Metal Awards. Can you explain to me how the steel industry has developed in the time you've been working in it?
I have been working in the steel industry for over 40 years. And probably the most remarkable is the fact that reality always exceeded my wildest expectations. What we're able to achieve and the things we're able to do is actually mind-boggling. One thing that is grossly underknown in the world is sophistication and complexity and depth in our industry. The smokestacks are past gone. If you go into my research facilities, one of my 11 research centers around the world, you will get yourself in a space center. The equipment you will see can only be found at the cutting-edge technologies available any place in the world. So the science we bring in, the technological sophistication we bring in, can be matched to any high-tech industry available. So in high-tech intensity of our business and scientific foundation that is constantly growing is what characterized this industry in the last 40 years for me. And one thing I stopped doing, I stopped predicting how far we can go. I used to predict there will be a limit to the extent of what we can achieve. I no longer see that.